Welcome back to the channel, people. Got a nice, bright, sunny fall day here. Not on the water. So, decided to do a little quick walkthrough about how I powered my Motorized Feelfree Lure 11.5. Let me give you a little run through of some of the mods that I did to get this thing up and running. Come along, let's go. Oh, there she is. It's Minn Kota 30-pound thrust C2, I believe, Endura. Let's see how I mounted this thing on here. Basically what I did was took the bracket that came with it, cut it down right here, and mounted some bolts with some washers that go all the way through to the bottom here. We have another bolt and washer system. So this actual mounting piece that came with the Minn Kota is securely fastened to my actual kayak with a long bolt there that runs from the top right here, top right here, with another bolt all the way through, and bolts the actual handle right here where the original rudder went. Cut down the shaft of the actual trolling motor right here. Took the wires out. Just took the basic power wires, the red and the black power wire. Ran that down to a plug here. Just a waterproof marine plug, an outlet plug. 2-prong, once again. Positive and negative. Ran it to an internal plug right here. Once again, marine grade. Has a cover for when I'm not using it. I just pop that over like that. Pop it open when I want to use it. Actually installed this hatch right here. This out of the way. Wanted to run all my wires internally, so knew I was going to have to get into the inside of my kayak back here, so what a little Amazon marine hatch, I believe, off Amazon, a little hatch off Amazon so I can get in the internals. And I believe this is a 10 gauge marine wire from this prong, right? Internally all the way up to the front hatch, where I just ran a simple pull and plug, plug and pull, whatever you want to call these little quick release, positive and negative, and ran that to my battery box. Plug it right into this same lead into my battery box, and here's where the belly of the beast comes together. There she is. Took me a little while to figure out how I was going to do this. Figure out which battery I was going to use, buy all the parts, source all the parts, wait for it to get here, and then I put it together and cross my fingers. And fortunately enough, it worked out. So, let's get to what we got here. First of all, we have a simple 30 amp resettable fuse here. It's like an ignition kill switch fuse, basically, is what it is. Wired that all to my terminals here. I'm running I believe a 35 amp hour mobility scooter battery is what it is, actually. Initially I was worried about weight. It's about 25 pounds because it is a lead acid battery. But the weight has actually helped in the, because I keep it internally, I store it internally, and the ballast has really helped out my stability of the kayak, even though my stability was already great. Now it's even better. So was worried about the weight, and now it's actually a positive. So ran all my wires once again. Here is how I control everything. This is it right here. Inside this little metal box, what it actually is a speed control. It's not a speed control for what I intended it for. What it is an actual industrial strength garage door opener. You can actually link these to a bunch of garage doors. Say you were working at a trucking company and you had 20 garage doors that you needed to open. Well, you would wire them all to this remote system, and then you could control them. Whatever door you needed to open, you could open with a remote, and you wouldn't have to go over and open every single door by hand. Well, what I wanted it for simply was for the speed control factor. What I'm able to do with this is I wired it into my battery, wired the motor directly into this speed control, and now I can control the speed of my trolling motor from 0 to 100%. Unlimited. Initially when I got this trolling motor, I believe it had 5 speeds forward and 3 speeds back. And well, initially you'd think, wow, that's probably enough speeds to handle any kind of trolling situation, which it might be. What it was a battery thing. A lot of people don't realize when you have a speed control on those Minn Kotas, what you're doing is when you set it to 1, you're still actually drawing 100% power off your battery. What you're doing is you're limiting how much power actually goes to the motor. So once again, drawing 100% power, putting 25% of that power to that motor. So what happens to all that 75% of the power that you're drawing from your battery still? Well, it just goes off to nowhere. It's super, super inefficient. That's why it kills your patrolling battery so fast, people. So this was a way that I could take a smaller battery and get it to last all day. Because when I'm using 10% of the power on the trolling motor, I'm using 10% power on the battery. So once again, drawing 10%, using 10%. Much more efficient because of this speed controller. Who makes this speed controller, you ask? Well, here's the remote that controls it, and there's the company that makes it, people. The secret's out. Gama Electronics, okay? American made, I believe they're in Illinois or something. Gama Electronics. Forget the model number, but I'll link all that below in the description of this video, all the parts and everything that I used as far as the speed controller and all these others. As far as the fuse and all the wires, you can source that on your own from any place. The speed controller, once again, and the remote come in a package deal. I'll link in the description below. So let's see how all this works, okay? So, once again, this thing is off because the fuse is turned off, on, off. So I leave it off. Take my little connection wire here. I connect it to the internal wire that I ran all the way back to my motor. I make the connection. I leave that power unit off. Come back over here to my mounted motor. It's my power cord. Stick my power cord in. Power's on. Well, plug's on. Everything's ready. I go back. Turn the switch on. Everything's powered up now. Technically, my motor should work. So, I have unlimited speed control. I don't even know if you can see that, but I can go from 0. Let's get down in the shade here. I can go from 0 to 100% power. So let's set it to 25. 26. I got forward, I got reverse, I have stop. Once again, forward, reverse, stop. Increase power, decrease power. So, everything's plugged in. We give it a click, Away we go. Once again, I can increase the power all the way up to 100. I can decrease the power all the way to whatever. That's at 30. And stop. So once again, the advantage of the system is I'm drawing very little power when I'm using 20%. I'm using 20% power and I'm not wasting 80% power like the original design of this motor system. Reverse. Once again, unlimited speeds. Unlimited speeds, people. And this is all wireless. This control goes to a lanyard around my neck. Pretty awesome system, I must say. Worked out way better than I thought it was going to. So you ask, how do you steer? Let me show you. I used the original collar stop from the motor and mounted a little bar through it with bolts on either side directly to the shaft. When you pull on this, it goes one way. When you pull on it, it goes the other way. And I use the original rudder cables. Fashion my own quick release system because I actually take this entire thing off when I travel. I don't travel with this big bulky motor on. I'll show you how I take that off. And then everything is controlled by my feet. I push one direction, it goes one direction. Push the other direction, it goes the other direction. Once again, I use the original foot controls. Use the original rudder cables. Fashioned my own quick release system here so I could take this thing off when I travel. So, completely hands-free, people. Speed controlled by my remote. Direction controlled by my feet. Leaves my hands free to do what? You got it. To fish. To fish. So once again, I'll link everything in the video description. Quick run through of how I powered my kayak. Speed control. Battery. Fuse. Remote. Let's see how I get this thing off now. So, fairly easy. Come over here. Got some quick release tabs on each side. Come over here. Got some carabiners right here. Carabiners that I take off. Here's my wires. Quick release on the motor. What I like to do is raise this thing up a little bit here. Tighten down the original motor lock. I have a simple quick release pin right here. Hold on to my motor. Pull out this little locking pin. Here's my locking pin. Here's my motor. My motor just slips completely off. Completely off. Travel with this in the truck. Travel with the motor like this. Totally off. Makes it quite easy and quite simple. Last thing that I have set up on this thing is this little lanyard, this little rope that runs the length of my kayak. Runs up to the top here. What that allows me to do is, if I'm in the water and I happen to be coming ashore, or I run up ashore, or I run into something, I'm able to raise my motor out of the water. Depending on how far I need to go, I can get it up to where it's enough out of the water that I can come to shore without grinding either my prop or my motor. I can actually come up quite far if I need to. Depending on how hard I pull on that rope, I can get that thing almost completely out of the water. You have to understand the water line is, you know, roughly here. So if I can get that prop up out of the water, if I need to clear it off, I can just run it fast. I also have a weedless prop on there. I haven't really had any issues with it getting caught up in grass, so that's how I did it. Wish I could take credit for this idea, but most of the engineering I did on my own, but the idea came from a company called Bassyaks. Bassyaks.com. Once again, I'll leave a link down below. The only thing that I bought out of this project that was manufactured was this bracket right here. The bracket that actually connects to my Feelfree. This steel bracket I purchased from Bassyaks. Bassyaks.com. They all have a whole array of products and even in complete kits that you can motorize your kayaks with. Go check them out. Once again, I'll leave a link to their description. I'll leave a link in the description below to their company. I'll leave a link to that Gama electronics where I bought the speed controller and the remote, also down in the description. And that's how I did it, people. That's how I motorized my Feelfree Lure 11.5. Run into a few hiccups along the way, so if you're trying a project like this on your own, you have questions, hit me up in that comment section. I'll help you if I can.